If you're a Game of Thrones fan, you were probably ecstatic when you found out that Peter Dinklage had a role to play in Avengers Infinity War. We saw him take on the role of Eitri, the dwarf who forged the Infinity Gauntlet. But could there be more to the gauntlet than we thought? And what will Eitri's role be in the next movie? Before we find out the answers to these questions and many more about Eitri, go ahead and subscribe to CBR and ring that bell to join our notification squad so you never miss any of our MCU videos. There are so many things to love about reading Marvel comic books. The compelling storylines, complicated characters, and the smug yet subtle sense of superiority over non-comic readers whenever a new movie comes out. But alas, fellow comic fans, the MCU has veered so far off course during Avengers Infinity War that even we don't have all of the inside information about Eitri the Dwarf. However, we have put together some information and insight we think you'll find quite compelling. One big difference between the Eitri in the comic books and Eitri in the MCU is, well, Eitri himself. In the comic books, he's portrayed as a traditional dwarf who is rather diminutive in stature, but in Avengers Infinity War, we saw a much taller Peter Dinklage than we're used to. When Thor, Rocket, and Groot traveled to Nidavellir in order to forge a new weapon, they learned that Eitri was the one responsible for forging the Infinity Gauntlet. Thanos forced him to make the weapon under the threat of exterminating all of the dwarves. So, Eitri created the gauntlet under duress, and then, Thanos being Thanos, wiped out the dwarves anyways and broke Eitri's hands for good measure. Man, that guy is just the worst. But it wouldn't surprise us to know that Eitri may yet get his revenge. At the end of Infinity War, we saw Thanos use the Gauntlet, an act which destroyed the Gauntlet and injured his hand in the process. The Russo brothers confirmed that Thanos damaged himself during this scene, but was it merely the power of the Infinity Stones or something more? When someone like Thanos shows up and threatens to wipe out your entire race, it doesn't take a genius like Shuri to figure out he might be up to no good. Eitri may have very well incorporated some sort of failsafe into the Infinity Gauntlet in order to make it less powerful. It would be easy enough to claim it was the power of the stones which caused the injury, and not a purposeful design flaw. Thanos may have broken Eitri's hands, but he hasn't quite broken his spirit yet. As our heroes learned during Infinity War, doing damage to Thanos is no easy feat, and Eitri's little trick could very well have been a devastating blow, especially now that the gauntlet is no longer usable. Eitri had a small but important role during Infinity War, and we fully expect him to show up in Avengers 4. If our remaining heroes hope to have a chance against Thanos, they're going to have to add some new weapons to their arsenal. We've seen an image of a brand new axe which looks to be dwarven. It doesn't seem unreasonable to guess that this new axe is made out of the ultra-powerful Uru metal, which is what Stormbreaker and the late Mjolnir, rest in pieces, were made out of. An incredible Uru-forged weapon like this would almost certainly require the expertise of someone like Eitri to construct. So, who's going to end up with this axe? We can't say for certain, but as usual, we have a guess. During Infinity War, Star-Lord asked a question many fans were probably wondering, which is, why don't all our heroes get a super cool Uru weapon? Yeah, remember that scene in Avengers Age of Ultron where the Avengers tried to lift Mjolnir? We don't blame Star-Lord for not catching that movie, but come on, you guys should know better. Not just anyone can lift one of these mighty weapons. It takes a strength of mind, body, and spirit that few possess. But in the comic books, we did see a character wielding a similar weapon, and that's none other than Captain Marvel. During the comic event Fear itself, many of our heroes obtain Uru weaponry. Following the events of Infinity War, could some of our heroes have leveled up enough to wield Uru weapons or armor effectively? Although we have the utmost sympathy for Eitri at the moment, it's possible he feels at least partially responsible for the actions of Thanos. After all, he did create the Infinity Gauntlet, which allowed Thanos to wield the stone, so we're guessing he would be eager to help in whatever way he can to reverse the snap, or at the very least, get some sweet, sweet revenge. It would take an intense amount of power in order to undo what Thanos did, and many people believe it's going to take an all-new Infinity Gauntlet. Tony Stark may have an unlimited line of credit, but we're guessing a fully functional Infinity Gauntlet could only be created with the knowledge and resources of someone like Eitri. We've seen a few pieces of weaponry set to appear in Avengers 4, but it looks like Thanos may be getting a fancy new sword, and if he wants the most powerful one in the galaxy, we might see him paying a visit to poor Eitri once again. See, one of the problems with destroying someone's entire race, other than the obvious moral issue, is that you now have nothing to hold over them. Sure, Thanos can threaten to smash Eitri into a paste, but that's unlikely to be effective at this point. If Eitri is capable of creating a a weapon which causes harm to the user, it's possible he has a much greater role to play than simply outfitting our heroes or recreating the Infinity Gauntlet. He could deal yet another devastating blow to Thanos by pretending to go along with his plan and then engineering something truly spectacular. It may seem simple, but just think about the state our galaxy would be in if Gale and Urso didn't design a flaw in the Death Star's exhaust port. At the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, Star-Lord saved the day in no small part by dancing, proving that sometimes a simple solution to a problem can be the most effective. When Eitri gets back to the Forge during Avengers 4, it would be foolish to underestimate him, and we're guessing that's exactly what Thanos is gonna do. That's what nobody noticed about Eitri's appearance in Avengers Infinity War. Were you excited to see Peter Dinklage? What do you think Eitri's role will be in Avengers 4? Let us know in the comments section below, and please don't forget to subscribe to CBR for more MCU videos just like this one. Thanks for watching.